Molly Gosen. I'm from Evanston, Illinois, and I'm 18 years old.
What do you think of when somebody says a person is acting black or acting white?
I think, well, this is stereotypical, but I think that acting white is much more like proper, I guess, like high society, whereas black would be, or what I would think of might be, this is again going to sound bad, I guess, but more ghetto or I don't know, not that like snooty personality kind of thing, I guess.
Okay. Do you think a person's behavior or speech has to do with their education?
I think it depends. I think some people it has to do with education and lack of education or higher education, but I think to some extent it has to do with your upbringing and how your family is raised and how you're raised based on that. So if I have a lot of education, I might speak a certain way, but if I never have that opportunity or I'm raised in a certain way, then I'm also going to speak in a different way, which isn't necessarily my fault.
How would you talk if you had a higher education?
Most likely more grammatically correct, more proper, not as loose or slang or text talk or whatever you want to call it. I guess you're more able to find boundaries between text talk and educational speak.
Okay. If you are around a group of black people or around a group of white people, do you feel that you have to talk differently than you would normally talk?
I don't think I feel like acting more versus talking.
Yeah.
I think, I mean, I am white, obviously. But, so I guess, not necessarily that, like, you're uncomfortable with black people. I think, well, it's true of any race. You have to get to know the group that you're with. So people are going to act, if they know it's more acceptable to be acting, I don't know, a certain way, they're going to do that with one group versus a different group. So if I'm hanging out with a bunch of white people, I might act like, oh, it's cool to go to the movies. Not that it's not with black people, but with black people maybe they like to, I don't know, go bowling or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. And so you have to know your group, but I don't think that necessarily depends on race. It's just the personalities you're with.
Alright. Do you feel the way a person acts or speaks is a learned behavior or the way they're born?
Ooh, hard question. I don't know. I think maybe both to some extent. You learn based on your parents and your family and your friends, and you want to act like them, so you imitate the way they act. But at the same time, I think part of it is inborn, in that I don't know, you're not going to be a completely different person based on how you're grown up. I think you have some of that in you based on your genes and everything, but I think more of it comes from who you're around mm-hmm. and how you want to be accepted.
Okay. Do you think how someone dresses is a clue of how they act? And what's an example?
I think, for the most part, how people dress is how they will act. Although, again, stereotypical. But, for instance, a lot more black guys will sag their pants really low than white guys. And so it might be a signal as to the more you sag the pants, the more hood, I don't know, or ghetto you are. Whereas if you wear your pants higher, you're going to be more educated, and not just based on race, but anybody. If a white guy does that, I'm going to think the same thing. But, yeah, so that's an example, I
guess. Okay. Do you think being light-skinned or dark-skinned, you are more attractive in either way?
No, I don't, personally. Mm-hmm. But I think it's funny how white people always want to get tanner, and black people always are like, I want to be lighter, for the most part. And so I don't know what that has to do with. Is there a happy medium? I don't know, but I don't think of it anyway.
How do you feel you have to dress or to look to be accepted?
Again, I think it depends on what group you want to be a part of. So if I wanted to be part of, a white, very white, higher society type of group, I'm going to dress more conservative or preppy. Whereas if I want to be part of in my mind, a more slang, like, loose group, I might dress more casual and not as preppy or conservative. So, yeah.
All right. Are there standards that are imposed upon you, like as a person or like where you live? And what are they?
I think for growing up in Evanston, which was a very mixed community, a lot of black people, a lot of white people, um, people expect, for the most part, I think, white people to be more educated, more upper class, and black people they don't have as many expectations for, which is sad, and it's just because of how people get categorized. One bad thing happens and you think it's everybody. It's like somebody got shot at my school and it was a black kid killed by black gang members, but that doesn't mean that all black people are bad, just as all white people aren't inherently good. So I think people do perceive you a certain way based on skin color, whether it's true or not.
Mm.